Do you really want to fall on that sword? I mean, that one. Let's look at the bigger picture. It's not just about your choice or about your rights being taken away, but this is nothing new in healthcare. Do you really want to go out on this one? Hey, let's talk about it. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarret Patton.
Welcome to this episode of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarret Patton, and I am our host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Go to anywhere you listen to podcasts, including YouTube, and subscribe to Licensed to Live. And always send me feedback, send me topics, send me problems, send me questions. Send them all to me on social media at Dr. Jarret. Spell out the word Dr. J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T. When I say dissed, I mean displaced, disgruntled, disenfranchised, disregarded. All of these things are coming in real lifetime. As this is you, we need to talk. Now today, we're going to be talking about a very, very, very thorny topic for a lot of people. A lot of people have been up at arms about this if they haven't gone through the process and just go through the pandemic and say, look, things are different now. Let's get the vaccination. Let's go forward and let's try to take care of people and end this pandemic. But some of you out there don't want to get your vaccination, and that is your right. But look, you better get your strategy together before you fall on that sword. And we will talk about that right after we're finished thanking our sponsors. Hey, this is Dr. Jarret Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
This is Super Bowl champion Mike Logan, and you are listening to Licensed to Live.
Today's affirmation is, I surround myself with people who treat me well. And this is out of my book, Licensed to Live Daily Affirmations. And I continue to use these affirmations as I develop more. So make sure you check out the new book. Do some reflection on a daily basis for 90 days. You will see how your life will change. It will turn more positive. It'll turn for the better. So take a look. And if you don't want to buy the book, I have a free ebook with 30 days for you to try. So check out the show notes, click the links, and change your life. Now, when we look at vaccines and vaccine mandates and how things have gone on, we have had this in healthcare for quite some time. There's been precedents that have been set. So first of all, let's look at this issue. Well, the vast majority of healthcare workers have said, okay, I'll voluntarily get vaccinated. Some have said, okay, in order to keep my job, I'll be vaccinated. And most people are covered. But you are hearing about the nursing shortages. You're hearing about the doctor shortages and how there aren't enough people to take care of the COVID patients at baseline. And with a shrinking healthcare workforce, a lot of these things are going away as well. So there's nobody to take care of patients and there's too many patients. But is this really the sword you want to fall on? I ask that question because a lot of people out there want to make their choice of getting their vaccine, and I'm fine with that. It's a personal choice. I went through that same decision-making process when I went to get the vaccine. In fact, I chronicled it quite a bit on my Facebook page, where I talk to parents about children's issues a lot of times. I told them, I wasn't sure at first, but explained the journey. I showed the days I got shots. I talked about the side effects, but ultimately I let the science and the research guide me to that conclusion. And not everybody agrees with that. Not everybody agrees with being forced to take the vaccines, but let's look at another vaccine that comes around every single year. And a precedent has been set with the flu vaccine. Years ago, healthcare organizations started looking at mandating flu vaccines for healthcare workers. Well, makes sense. Hey, let's keep the healthcare workers from spreading influenza to their patients time and time again. And let's keep them healthy and safe. And, the flu vaccine, somewhere around 60 to maybe 80% effective, but we take it anyway. And I typically get mine every year. And I chronicle that as well on my Facebook page, simply because it's just something I believe in. And I haven't had influenza, at least that I know of, for a number of years, and have never gotten sick from the flu vaccine. Some of the common things I would talk about in the pediatric clinic back in the days. So these mandates have been given for quite some time. When I was running the medical staff at a major East Coast institution, I was overseeing nearly 1,500 docs. I helped enforce that policy. I helped bring that policy to life and said, hey, this is just something that's been around. Let's do it. It makes sense. And people had the option. You did not have to get vaccinated. I repeat, you did not have to get vaccinated. You did have choices. You could choose not to get vaccinated, and you could choose not to work from October to April. Simple choice. No big deal. So if you really didn't want to get the vaccine, you had choices and you just took the winter off. Well, that has been fought against. People had tried to uproar and protest and strikes and all of that. And well, the big healthcare companies won. They won because, well, they said, hey, this is our shop. We can write the rules. And they can. And incidentally, this is what happens when you are in organizations. Your choices may be limited. You have to follow the rules. You have to go down a certain line. You have to achieve certain goals. And in return, you get paid. So it's a trade-off you have to realize. And so for those of you that are really holding out on getting that COVID vaccine and getting and saying, hey, I want to have my choice and I don't want to take it, well, that's fine. You can take another job. But let's talk about, what's right and what's wrong. I don't care, where you side on any political spectrum. I really don't care where you fall out as far as is what you believe and don't believe about COVID, or if it's real or if it's fake news, because so many people have had issues with just trusting people and trusting things that we would have ordinarily trusted years ago, including scientific research. People simply don't get that. And we've had people that have lied in research before. I mean, the whole autism and vaccine thing started around a lie. So yes, there is precedent. Have been histories of nefarious experimentation on populations. The Tuskegee experiment with syphilis and Black people is one of the landmark nefarious medical experimentation projects. So yes, those things have happened, but they are rare and few and far between. And that's why there's so much oversight. So there's lots of mistrust. There's lots of people forgetting all of that background of hard science that you had to sit through, going through your undergrad, going through your medical school training before you would even get to the clinical stuff. And, hey, to each their own. If they have a new oil or a new treatment or something else is going to, keep COVID away, then great. Add to the community and let's do some research. But let's not talk about a series of 10 patients. But I'm digressing right now. We're talking about your choice. And if you are going to fall on that sword, or simply you've had enough of your current job and you said, you know what, this is the last straw. Because let's face it, just getting the vaccine, we know it's not the only straw or the first straw. This is probably the last straw because you've been secretly getting tired of your life time and time and time again. So for you, for being out there, for just seeing what's going on in history, you could end up losing pretty big. You're not going to win this by protesting and such. So let's get a strategy and decide to move on. And so it may be time to make a change. This could be a time for you to resurge, refresh, restart, do something new. Because in terms of your job, it's not about the vaccine and mandates and masks and lack of PPE. It's been a lot of other things that have led up to this sentinel moment in your life where you said, I just can't take anymore. So what do you need to do to move on? It's time to make a change. And the first thing you can do to make sure it's not just this vaccine issue is take an inventory. Take an inventory of things that you like, things that you dislike in your job. And just make a list, a running list, so you can start to understand the things that you do like about your job and the things that you don't like about your job. Because the things that you don't like, you want to try to remove in this next version. So take that inventory and really think about it and write down all of the things, even if it is something that may be a part of your regular clinical job, like note-taking or writing policy. Number 2, look to your heart. What has been your passion? What has been your purpose? Did this job that you're no longer happy with, did it match up with some of those things? Think of the things that drive you. And this can be ways you volunteer, your outlets, maybe the way you try to relax. This could be the way you spend your money to charitable organizations. It could be all of these things. So take a look at your heart. Listen to it, because it's going to guide you. And when you're not listening to it, then you're just forcing yourself down the wrong path. This is why we want to restart. Number 3, don't forget your long-term goals, because your short-term goal may just be get a new job, or may just to be avoid the vaccine, or may just to be to get a new start on life. But don't put yourself in that same position that you just left. Look at your long-term goals and what does it look like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? What are you going to do as you head to retirement? What is your lifestyle going to be? Think about those long-term goals, because if you can find something that matches up with your long-term goals in the interim and that short term, you're going to be winning. And finally, hey, if this stuff is really killing you, and you just don't know where to begin, do some simple things. I mean, we try to give skills and strategies on this podcast. You hear from lots of experts. Get some help. Just get some help wherever it may be. So listen to this show. We've talked about things. Man, if you guys didn't make it to License to Live, the conference, tell me about strategies and skills to refresh and restart your career. There were tons of them. And you know, it may even just be seeing a coach, and it doesn't have to be me. There's so many coaches out there. I mean, I've interviewed lots of different coaches, and I probably won't even go down the list of them over previous episodes because I'm sure I will forget somebody. But there's different coaches, so why not have that call? Why not reach out and say, look, I'm just stuck. I'm in a point in my life and I'm stuck and I don't know how to get unstuck. I've been here for years and I finally had enough. When you get to that point, that's when you know you're ready to change. So reach out and get some help. Invest in yourself. Invest in your life. Invest in your future. Invest in your future happiness. Take the time, do a little research and see what's out there. And of course, you can always set up an appointment with me free of charge, timewithdrjarret.com, and we'll sit down and talk about your situation and see if we'd be a right fit, because I don't accept everybody that comes to me, but I'm looking for the right fit too. So that kind of, that'll start your application process to enter into any of my programs. Just reach out. We'll sit down, have a video call, and for a lot of people, I say, hey, this is maybe what you need before you get to me. Go look at these people or that person. But there are a lot of people that you've heard from on this show, including me. And hey, sometimes you just need help. And so often we're trained to be independent. We're trained to do things in a certain way. We're trained to be tough. Then we just don't ask for help. Then we drown. And then things get into that tailspin. And that's not what we're looking for. So reach out for help. As you guys know, it's all about reinventing yourself, getting yourself to the right place at the right time on that right trajectory. And sometimes that path gets a little windy. Sometimes that road gets a little long. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's going to be fantastic for you. You just have to do it. I will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.